$25.99, you can learn a lot.
That was technically my mentor, but also I got paid.
Okay, so if I'm at 10 clients, but I want to get to 50, find somebody who has 50.
If you have no money, you could literally just go to them and just like DM them.
But everything and everyone can be a mentor. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Winners Club podcast, where even when we don't freaking win, we learn.
And learning is a form of winning.
Dude, big energy today, guys.
Yeah,
big
man.
energy.
Super big energy.
Because when people listen, they need to know. They need to feel it. You know, like you're sitting in your car, you're probably listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
I want you to feel me. You feel me, PJ?
Feel it.
You feel me?
Yeah, feel it.
All right,
hey,
go.
I just want to say, man, thanks to everybody who's listening to the show. I know you guys be listening, man, faithfully. And I just want to say, yo, share the show, man. Like, share it on your Instagram. Share it on something, man. Like, we be spitting fire. And we're trying to grow this podcast. So please, share the show, guys.
Yeah, and you know what? If you guys want to get on the podcast and you got an interesting story, whether it be you're an entrepreneur or a barber or anything, that we want to just bring people on and hear your story and hear your struggles, and maybe we can have a little Q&A.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir, man. We're going to
slide
take over.
in my DMs and let's get you on the podcast.
Yeah, man. The podcast. All right, man. So I want to talk about something today. I want to talk about mentorship and how to find your mentorship. And I think also there's a lot of misconception, especially when you're new, about your mentor, right? Because like I think when I heard mentor back then, I was like, damn, I'm never gonna find a mentor, man. Like I'm gonna have to pay like $10,000 for someone to teach me, man. So
I think mentorship comes in many forms.
yeah, I do too.
Okay.
I agree.
I think when people think of mentorship, they think of somebody physical, like right here to your right.
Yeah.
That's going to be able to guide you, hold your hand, and all that stuff. That's one form.
Yeah.
But if you were to look at it, mentors come in the form of books. Okay?
That is true.
Mentors come in the form of YouTube.
Yes.
Mentors come in the form of online courses. That's a step, right? Education.
Also, another one, they come in a form of friends.
That's right.
That's possible.
Friends, family. Right?
And I mean, that's possible. You could have. That is true, actually.
I like my wife's family on like one of their side, like the uncle's pretty successful. I don't know if he's a good mentor or not. Because I don't mentor with him.
But it could be. Yeah.
But it could be.
Yeah.
Right?
Keep going. Keep going.
And then, so what do we have here? We got books, YouTube,
Yeah.
courses,
Friends.
family.
Yeah.
And then obviously now you can start going into like paying for coaching.
Yeah.
Then there's probably even more you can pay for.
There is. I mean, let's talk about that more though, okay?
So I'm thinking like, a lot of people, I wanted to start down at the bottom because people put too much emphasis. Like, man, I don't know. Like I see it in my comments. Like, I don't know anybody rich. I don't know anybody doing this. Like, bro, come on.
Yeah.
Let's start off with books first.
Yeah, I think so.
For $25.99, you can learn a lot.
I mean, bro, cheaper than that, dude.
Yeah. So, for example, like one of my mentors is Patrick Bet-David.
Hey, man, one of my mentors is Jen Sincero.
Exactly. Do I actually know Patrick? Does he know me? Hell no.
Not yet.
No, not yet. But
not yet.
But here's the thing. So I look at his life. I read his books. I understand his ideology. I see how he raises his family, at least from, a macro, right? Not micro, but macro. I'm like, okay, well, I look up to him.
Yeah.
He's mentoring me on how he raises his children. He's mentoring
Great
me
values.
on, thinking 5 moves ahead, finding your enemy. Like I'm learning these things from him, not directly.
Yeah.
Right. But that's a form of mentorship. You can, I think you can even go back further. Like when I was a young kid, I was like, dude, okay, I want to be, rich and successful.
Yeah.
I didn't really know anybody rich and successful. So I said, okay, I watched the movies and I'm like, oh man, rich people are very elegant. Rich people don't cuss. Rich people eat like this. Rich people talk like this. Rich people drive this. They eat this. They go there. Yeah. And I'm like, okay. So at least in my mind, I'm like, okay, that's a form of mentorship. I'm like, I'm writing all this stuff down. I'm like, okay, if I want to be rich, I got to do these things. Is it all correct? Probably not, but it's a start.
Yeah.
And then you start reading books, and then you start, again, going back to Patrick David and all the other people that have influenced my life. That's a form of mentorship. And I'm like, okay, you start adding and stacking into your notebook and saying, okay, if I want to be rich, this is what he said, this is what he's doing, this is what his book has said. Yeah. And then
for sure.
Yeah, you level up.
Yeah.
Then you start going to YouTube.
Yeah.
Right?
Gotcha.
Like,
before we get into more, because you're spitting complete like facts. And I just want to like do this the best and concise way for the listeners.
Yeah.
There's steps, but everything that you said, I think there's levels, and each of them is, in a sense, greater and more powerful and effective as you climb up the ladder, right?
100%.
Like, for me, I'm just gonna like say for me what happened, right? Like, I used books. Books was my first thing too, right?
Yep.
Same thing. I was like, damn, like I read How to Make Money Like a Badass, and I was like, damn, this is crazy. So did everything they said, followed that. And as I progressed, right, you start putting better people in your circle, right? That's what you do. That's what people do when you want to get successful. And I started hanging around with Derek the most, right? My sister's boyfriend, my brother-in-law. And that was my, like, honestly, it took me a while to figure out, but I was like, damn, this is technically like my mentor. Like, I got to ask him questions, like whenever, and it's always good vibes. And then my next one was I went to, like I said in the other podcast, I went to work for the ice cream store. And I basically learned everything that I wanted to do because I wanted to open an ice cream store. And he taught me, like, stuff about business and how he did it. And that was technically my mentor. But also I got paid, which was great. And technically I see you as my mentor too. And, I have the same thing, right? You have stuff that you want to accomplish. I'm doing it. And I also got to learn. I got to hang out and ask you questions here and there. And it's definitely helped me a lot. And then now I'm over here and I have my course now that I just did, right? My paid course, and it's still new, but it's another thing and another level that I know it's gonna propel me. So, it's possible whether you don't know it or not. Like it just is there. Right?
And I think ultimately you're resourceful.
Yeah.
Be resourceful.
Yeah. On top of having the mentor, like that's a killer combo.
Even getting a mentor is being resourceful. Like
that is true. That is true.
You got to buy you have money to buy the books, right?
Yeah,
that's a resource.
Yeah.
You got to buy, have money to then eventually. Well, actually, you went to go get a job, so that's actually even smarter. But you were smart enough to go out there and be like, this ice cream shop is popping. Let me go work for this guy.
Yeah.
And you did what you had to do to go get that job, right? But yeah, dude, I think that's. You're right, levels to it, right? So let's start with the basic level. I think we kind of covered the books and all that stuff. And I think eventually you got to take a leap of faith and you got to, pay for a coach.
Yeah, for sure. I think so.
But my thing now with coaching, I feel like, is not the best.
You don't think so?
Not, well, because when it comes to like bodybuilding, sports, yes.
Yeah, in a sense too.
But sometimes I think maybe it's because there's a lot of bullshit coaches.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that too. And it's always like, it's kind of hard to vet that out. But again, you have to be resourceful and you have to do your due diligence and see. Because I read it. The hardest part about like doing your due diligence about like coaches and stuff is because there's a lot of fucking naysayers. There's a lot of bullshit. There's a lot of people who's like, this doesn't work. But there is like a lot of people who do. And it's kind of hard to be like, all right, I have to listen to all the bullshit, all the good stuff and all the bad stuff, and then make my own decision.
There's definitely look. I was in coaching, and then now I think the level up above coaching is you start hiring like professional consultants.
Yeah,
because then or like people that are because obviously when you hire a coach, let's say like for real estate or e-commerce or editing, they're gonna give you the basic first.
True. And
so if I join that course and let's say I'm a little bit more advanced, it's like I got to learn the basic, which is good. You always need to learn the basics. But let's say I want to be more tactical. Like I want to go from 10 million to 15 million. Rather than join like a Tony Robbins or whatever, I would find somebody who's doing 15 million.
Yeah.
And that's the level up. And again, like that's the ultimate form of mentorship and saying, hey, look, you're in the same industry as me. You've done this and this. You've gone from here to here. And then, like, I'm struggling with this. And you can ask very specific questions. And they can be like, do this.
Yeah, for sure.
Or here's what I did.
Yeah.
And then you obviously had to go back and say, okay, does this still work in my time? Because he did it 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Does it still work? But that has been more effective for me.
For sure. I think that's really good value.
Yeah.
Especially
but
like
it's not cheap.
I was just going to say.
That is probably the most expensive form because you either have to pay for their time, and if at this point, if they're making a lot, or you have to provide some other form of value,
for
where
sure.
they're like, okay, and sometimes that's like, here's a piece of my company, here's, I know you need help here, so my company can help you here, but I need help here, and so it's like you're trading services.
I think that's a very valuable lesson because once you're in the high marks, right, you're making mil pluses, right, that it's not really just about courses. It's about, like you said, it's about consulting, and I would say even add like masterminds. Yeah, because that's different. Like you don't want to like learn the basics, right? You're like, oh, I need more courses. Like no, you probably need like higher level people, and you need like higher ticket stuff. You know what I mean?
So like this year, the last 2 years, 2022, 2023, we spent a lot on trying to get into the right rooms.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely did build some nice networks. It was good. I mean, it was worth it.
And we, every time we go to an event, we buy the best tickets to get into the dinners. We get into the pre-parties, the after parties, where it's only people that spent that kind of money.
Yeah.
And that, to me, is a form of mentorship.
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting there, I'm learning from all these people.
Yeah.
And I'm just extracting this, extracting that. Like, this guy said this guy's doing that. And then you come back and, like, that form of coaching, that form of mentorship is probably the most valuable.
Yeah.
And then you tap into their network, and then it's like, oh shoot, that's like, boom.
For sure, man. I like it, man. Let's take it back, right? So let's say, like, granted everything that we mentioned, say someone is really trying to seek that mentorship, right, in any shape or form, right? I'm also like, let me just tell you the story. So I was talking to Christiana, like my girlfriend. We were just like hanging out, and I was just like, you know what, dude? Like, I think like when you get your mentor, I was like, I think you should find that your mentor, because I feel like that's going to really take you, far. And I was like, you do have shapes and forms of your mentorships, right? Like you have these people that you could talk to, but I was like, once you find that one, like, I think that would be solid. But how do you think someone, like, I'm asking you, how do you think someone, like her, she, fitness, bodybuilding, how do you think she can find, or anybody can find their mentor like that? How do they approach that?
Well, then you have to start off, it starts from within with what do you want? So
say like coaching, right?
Okay, yeah, exactly.
Sure,
let's say she
that.
wants to be a top bodybuilding coach.
Yeah.
Okay. She probably won't get into the room with, like, I don't know who's the top guy now.
I think Cuts right now.
Cuts
is, I would just say Cuts. Like,
sure. I don't know what level he is, right?
He's top tier.
He's top tier?
I'm going to get him on the show, too.
He's more top than, like, the guy that trained Phil Heath and all that stuff?
Oh, no. Sorry.
Okay,
let's think about Bahani.
Okay. So you're not going to get in the room with Bahani.
Yeah.
So maybe you start off with, okay, so if I'm at 10 clients, but I want to get to 50, find somebody who has 50.
Yeah.
Or I'm at 10 clients charging $500 a month, but I want to get to 5 clients charging $2,000, $3,000.
Yeah.
Find somebody who's doing what you're doing, and then talking to them.
For sure.
Start off with, again, if they're super busy, you have to. The best way is to try to figure out what kind of value you can add. Like, for example, this podcast. Like, once we invite, like, dude, once we built this up enough, people will want to come to us. They want to get on our podcast to get their word out, to get all that stuff. So that's one form of value.
Yeah.
The other thing is like, hey, how much is your time worth? I learned this from Kane.
Yeah.
How much is your time worth? And then, like, how much is your hour worth? They say 1,000. Send me your PayPal link. I'll send you 1,000 right now. I need an hour of your time.
I respect that.
But that's money.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So
even go creative. Let's
again,
get creative.
You have to be creative. You have to be resourceful. You have to figure out, like, what do you have that they need?
Yeah.
Or most of the time, money is just kind of universal.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to pay me freaking like $2,000 an hour, I'm gonna hop on a call.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm gonna just interject, and I'm gonna say something, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think everything that you said is very accurate, right? It's easy. You find that person who you want to, like, model, and you just be like, you could literally just pay them. Like, how much is it worth? Like, here. And that's a great investment, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, that's a great investment, right? Because you can't really say no to money. Because, like, money's great.
Because, you brought up Christiana. I don't know how the bodybuilding space works.
For sure.
But I know this.
A lot of things are universal.
Like,
go ahead. Sorry.
Like, my personal experience, I wanted to meet Ryan Pineda.
Yeah.
I spent $25,000.
Yeah, for sure.
And I said, I want the best tier, but I want to talk with him.
Yeah, for sure.
And guess what we did? We went talk with him.
Went to D&B, had some drinks.
He knows me, I know him.
Yeah.
And then I told you I wanted to meet Kang.
Yeah.
King Kong.
Money!
Let's go get that money. He had a course.
Yeah.
$497. You pay the year up front, $5,000 or something like that. Yeah. I paid $5,000.
Oh, I didn't know that. Why didn't you tell me that, bro?
Well, it's $497. I don't know. It's $497 a month.
No,
so it's actually supposed to be $6,000. I paid $5,000. I don't.
Yeah.
Whatever reason, his link was only $5,000.
Okay, go ahead.
I paid it.
Yeah.
Now I talk with him
for sure. I saw it.
So it's like, but I mean, obviously, I have the means.
Yeah.
If you don't have the means, you have to figure out what you have that they need.
All right, let me tell you this. Bro.
Yeah.
This is the part that I wanted to say.
Yeah.
All right. In my opinion, if you were someone and you were trying to, get in that room, right? Or, place yourself amongst another person, right? The easiest thing, and like, if you have no money, is you could literally just go to them and just like DM them and just tell them, like, just honestly, just super transparent, like, hey, I just want to reach out and be like, yo, like, I'm really inspired by you. You changed my life. Like, I just think that everything you're doing in the community, like, just really just showing your praise.
But if they're small, you'll probably get through, like me. Like, I'm a small timer, right? Like,
yeah.
So if I read my DMs.
Yeah.
But if you do that to Gary Vee or
that's
King
what I'm
Count
saying.
Or Ryan Panetta, they don't read it.
We are talking about like at a lower tier, right?
Okay.
Because let's be honest, some kid did that to me, bro.
Yeah.
Some kid did that to me, like, because I think he goes to the lab, right?
Well, that's why I said, like, choose somebody that's like the next level.
Exactly.
Up. Don't try to,
Exactly.
I'm saying, you should shoot for the moon and try out everybody.
Of course.
But realistically, like, to just try to level up, like,
yeah,
it takes steps.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes just showing your praise to somebody and just like literally just giving them like the appreciation. Like, some people really, like that. Cause I'm not gonna lie, I like that. Yeah. Some kid went to me, he was like, yo, like, I really like what you're doing, man. Like, it's awesome, man. It's inspiring. Like, I want to get like you. And I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna give him everything that I need to tell him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, yo, like, if you really want to, be successful,
one
do
day
this.
you're gonna get so big, bro. You're not gonna be able to answer all of them.
I know.
But that's what the advice is.
Yeah.
Go to the next
exactly.
guy. And then level up there, and then go to the next guy.
Yeah.
Level up there, and then it's like.
And that's the truth. The truth is like, if this kid asked me anything, I would tell him, just because I'm just like, whatever. Like, you gave me.
I think the other thing is like, dude, right now, like, dude, get famous, start a podcast, get so big to where now the big names want to get on your podcast.
I mean, that's true too.
And then boom,
that is value.
That's not easy.
Yeah,
easy to do that. Like, we've been doing this for 2 years, and our podcast is still small, right? Like,
yeah.
But hey, that's like, people ask why we're doing the podcast. That's to interact with cooler people.
Yeah,
like cool people, but also people doing great things
and inspire people too, man. Like, inspire people, push people, like, do everything. See, this is like, bro. This is a form of mentorship.
Yeah.
Like, you can find a podcast and just listen to, like, honestly, like, I listen to our podcast too. Like, I was listening to the podcast with Sal, and I was just chilling. I was like, you know what, man? Like, we're pretty cool people.
I'm cool. Mom, I'm cool.
Yeah, I was like,
Mom,
I'm
cool.
man. Straight up. Because, like, but yeah, man, like, just come back to the subject and the topic is that there's so many forms of mentorship, and you really just have to be resourceful and creative. And you could find somebody to, just give you the time, just give you the shot.
Yeah, so like with Christiana, going back to that, like, if she wanted a mentor, find somebody who has like 100 clients, and living the life who has the physique you want to have.
Yeah,
that is living like, maybe doing X amount of shows a year, is kind of living freely, and training her clients, and her clients are crushing it.
Yeah.
Go fucking go.
Dude, I'm sorry, but I just want to tell this story, man, because I'm proud of my girlfriend, man.
Okay.
But there was this time, man. So we went to her show, right? I think this is her second show that I was recording with her. Like, we were, whatever. She was still technically my client, and we were kind of talking. But anyways, she has a very favorite pro in wellness. And she was going down the elevator, and she went in the elevator, and they were both in there. And it was her favorite pro, like her idol. And she met her, right? And she was like, oh, my God. I remember she came out to me. She's like, oh, my God, I just met her. Like, I always wanted to meet her. I was like, dude, that's cool. And basically, fast forward, she made a vision board, and she put the picture of her because, she wants to be a pro like that, right? And now, like, even fast forward more, dude, that's her coach, bro. Like, that's her actual coach. Like, that's nice. Who trains her. Yeah. And it's like, the power of, like, manifestation and all this. And, in my head, I'm just like, dude, like.
And that's how you get close.
I'm just like, honestly, like.
She spent money. She hired her as a coach.
Honestly, it's a high possibility. I know it could probably happen is that, like, she could train under her, like, down the road. And then just be part of that, like, team.
She doesn't train. Wait, that's her coach, but she doesn't train under her?
No, I mean, like she's training clients with her, like, under her. You know what I mean? Like, they work together, not like she's, you know what I mean? Like, that, technically, like, that's right down the next road too. I mean, you're already talking to her every day. Like,
yeah,
I don't know, man. Like, shout out to you, Christiana. Like, you manifest some big stuff, but it's just to show a perspective of how, like, these things happen, like, just in order, you know?
Yep. And, that's, I know we went deep, man. I know we went kind of all over the place, and it started off with mentorship.
Yeah.
But everything and everyone can be a mentor. It's just whether or not they fit or in line with what you want.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah, I think that's actually good too because I'm always someone who's like loves to hear people's opinion and take on things. Yeah. But like as you start you taking in more information, you have to take everything with a grain of salt. Like, does it apply to me?
Everybody has an opinion. Not everybody has a say.
Yeah. That's what we said. That's what we said. Yeah.
Like everybody's entitled to an opinion, but not everybody has a say. And to give you an example, like when people try to give me parenting advice, but they got no kids, you have no freaking say.
Yeah.
You have an opinion, but you don't have any weight.
Yeah. I do that sometimes to people.
You know what I mean? So that's why my thing is like I always tell people, you want my opinion or do you want my say?
Yeah.
And it's like sometimes I'm like, look, I don't have a say in this because I can't relate to that situation. I've never been in that situation.
This is my opinion.
But here's my opinion.
Yeah.
Take it whatever you want.
Yeah. But some people have good opinions though.
Some people do. But others they be like,
yeah,
my word. Like they try to shove it down your throat. Like, no, I know my shit's right. No, your shit ain't right. Anyways.
Yeah, this is a fire podcast. I think that was some good flow. So I really do hope you guys, got a lot of value in that, man. And you already know I'm gonna say it. Please share this with 5 friends, man. We're going hard. Again, if you want to be on the show, DM Brian, and we're also gonna have a new page, man, the Instagram page. So follow that soon.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Peace.